So what does it really take to create a modern supercar? You know, it's not just an engine and a chassis. It's this symphony of thousands of individual decisions. Today, we're going to deconstruct a single, totally bespoke McLaren 750S order to understand the anatomy of a true performance machine. Let's dive right in.
Okay, this is it. Well, more accurately, this is the vision. Every single car that leaves the McLaren factory has a unique code, and this one is WG7KYSF. We're going to break down this exact build, choice by choice, to see how an order sheet gets turned into a jaw-dropping reality.
And this is the philosophy that guides every single one of those choices. This quote, it's straight from McLaren, but believe me, it is not just some marketing slogan. No, it's the core engineering principle that pushes every single component to be lighter, faster, and more engaging than whatever came before it.
To really get the anatomy of this 750S, here is how we'll do it. We'll start by deconstructing the order itself. Then, we'll look at its incredible exterior form, dive deep into the cockpit, analyze the raw performance numbers, and then wrap up with some surprisingly practical finishing touches.
All right, let's get into it. And just so you know, this isn't going to be just some boring list of features. No way! We're telling the story of this car's creation, how each and every decision builds on the last to forge a singular machine with one very, very clear purpose. And that story, it really starts with the first impression, the exterior. This is where you first see that obsession with materials and aerodynamics take shape, creating a car that is somehow both beautiful and just brutally effective. I mean, just look at that silhouette. Every line, every vent, every single surface is there for a reason, right? To manage airflow, to generate downforce, and you can see that stark contrast between the pristine white paint and the intricate weave of all that exposed carbon fiber. It's a massive hint at the lightweight core hiding right underneath. So let's get specific. The body is finished in an elite paint called Ice White, which is set against these gloss black vortex-forged alloy wheels. Then, behind them, you get this awesome flash of speedline gold on the brake calipers. And then, you get to the last detail, lightweight titanium wheel bolts. Now that might seem like a tiny choice, but it is our first huge clue about this car's real obsession.
And that obsession? It's carbon fiber. And I mean, this is not just a little sprinkle for show. The owner of this car selected pretty much every carbon option you can get. The underbody, the upper structure, the hood, those fender louvers, the entire rear bumper. It is all carbon. It is an absolutely exhaustive and very deliberate choice.
Which brings us to a really fundamental question, right? Why go to this extreme? What's the ultimate goal of replacing so many parts with this incredibly expensive, exotic material? Let's just park that thought for a moment, but I promise you, there is a very powerful answer coming right up.
Okay, so let's move from the skin of the car right to its heart, the cockpit. If the outside is all about manipulating the air, the inside is about creating this totally uncompromised connection between the driver and the machine. This is the command center. This view, it just says it all. There is zero distractions. The whole layout just wraps around the driver, with every control, every surface angled perfectly for performance. The materials are all tactile, non-reflective. You get in here and you immediately understand this space is built for one thing and one thing only, driving.
And nothing makes that clearer than the choice of seats. Now, the 750S can be optioned with more traditional, comfortable seats, but this owner? Nope. They chose these super lightweight carbon fiber racing seats. This is not a choice about comfort. It's a total statement of intent. It screams that this car is a tool for the track, not some cushy grand tour. And the rest of the options just reinforce that singular focus. Everything is covered in carbon black Alcantara to cut glare and improve grip. There's a titanium harness bar fitted right behind the seats, and check this out, it comes with 6-point racing harnesses and a super vibrant McLaren orange. Even the gear shift paddles are extended carbon fiber, makes them easier to grab when you're driving hard. Oh, and of course, a double glazed window so you can see and hear that engine roaring right behind you. So we've got a body sculpted from carbon fiber and a cockpit that's built like a fighter jet. Okay, now let's get to the payoff. Let's see how all of this translates into pure, unadulterated performance. These are the numbers that all those choices were really aiming for.
Remember that question we parked? What's the point of all this carbon fiber? Well, here's your answer. 1,277 kilograms. That is the lightest possible dry weight of the 750S. Every single carbon fiber panel, those lightweight seats, the titanium wheel bolts, it was all in service of shaving every last possible gram from this car.
And what happens when you combine an unbelievably low weight with incredibly high power? You get this. 750 PS, which is about 740 brake horsepower. This power-to-weight ratio, that is the magic formula for a supercar. It's what defines the entire experience.
So what does that actually mean for acceleration? Well, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is just gone in 2.8 seconds. Astonishing. But the number that truly bends your mind is the next one. 0 to 200 kilometers per hour in only 7.3 seconds. That is just relentless, ferocious acceleration.
And it just does not stop pulling until it hits a top speed of 332 kilometers per hour. That's 206 miles per hour. This right here is the absolute pinnacle of performance that you get from that single-minded focus on lightweight engineering and massive power.
Now, after all that talk of extreme performance and track focus options, you might be thinking this car is just completely unusable in the real world. But let's take a look at the final set of choices because they tell a slightly different story.
Because, hey, even a track weapon has to get over a speed bump, right? This owner very wisely optioned a vehicle lift system to raise the front end. They also added 360-degree park assist. There's a branded car cover, a battery charger for when it's sitting, and even the key is painted to match the body. These are the small but absolutely vital details that bridge the gap between a pure race car and a usable road car.
And so, here we are, back at the completed vision. A car that's painted ice white, but is built almost entirely from carbon. An interior that's fit for a racetrack, but has parking sensors for the grocery store run. Every single choice we've talked about, from the titanium bolts to the vehicle lift, all comes together to create this one totally unique expression of performance.
Which leaves us with one final thought. You know, in an age of mass production, a car like this becomes this deep form of self-expression. It's like a rolling resume of priorities, of taste, of intent. So the real question is, when every single detail can be chosen, what does a car truly say about the person who configured it?